with NIL being a thing and keeping talent around longer in the college world, even if it's kind of bouncing around a little bit, right? Um, I just feel like there's more teams that you look at them and you're like, holy shit, like they're good,
Yeah.
right? 5, 6, 7 years ago when you'd be doing this, it's like, all right, well, this team's loaded, but they got a bunch of freshmen, so I don't know if I see it there. And this team's got a bunch of guys coming back, but if any of them were any good, they would already be in the NBA. They don't really have any pros, and so you're kind of going back and forth and like, who do I hate the least when you're trying to pick the preseason number one team? This year, it's, you know, Houston is bringing back Milos Uzan and they're bringing back JoJo Tugler and it's Kelvin Sampson. And he actually has a bunch of 5-star freshmen and some dogs on the roster this year, right? You look at Florida, who has one of the best backcourts in the country and probably the best front court in all of college basketball. Purdue is absolutely loaded. UConn is loaded. St. John, there's like a half dozen teams that in any normal season would end up being the preseason number one team in the country. And that brings me back to this. So I have said before that I think that this year is national title or bust for Purdue, TO. And that is because they have a guy who might end up being the best point guard in all of college basketball history, right? When it's all said and done. Braden Smith could end up being the first guy. Finn, I think you had this at 2,000 points, 1,000 assists, 500 rebounds, right? No one's ever done that before.
Mm-mm. No, I'll
And
get some of the notes up as you're talking about it.
yeah, for me, preseason national player of the year. You got back another All-American. Your starting backcourt is 2 4-year starters, two seniors that were 4-year starters. You brought in two transfers and a freshman that could plug the gaps of some of the holes that you had in the roster last year. And oh, by the way, you got two freshmen that are ready to become sophomores to fill some of those voids as well. I think this is the year. We've seen Purdue make a national championship game. They've won a combined 6 Big Ten regular season and tournament titles since 2017. This is the year Matt Painter needs to find a way to be able to get it done because I don't think he'll ever be set up to have a year like this ever again. A point guard like this, talent like this, two returning All-Americans. I
I
don't
don't
know
know.
if you can be in
I
this
think
spot again.
Purdue. I think Purdue under Matt Painter is here to stay for the next 10 to 15 years. That's kind of where I'm at.
Time.
Huh?
I think they're here to stay. 15 years would be unbelievable.
Yeah,
I mean,
it would be. But like, what's stopping Paint from going
nothing.
another 10 years, 15 years? There's not. I can't find a reason. I mean, he's found a system that works for him, a good point guard. He's got another guy named Luke Ertl, who I think is tragically underrated coming up to Purdue over in the next couple of years. And they have Omer Mayer coming from Israel, who lit up the World Cup in Switzerland when I saw him. And I don't know if you guys have seen this picture, but there's a picture that Purdue put out. They called it Point Guard U. Omer Mayer is standing beside Braden Smith. And Braden Smith's not all that big, but he makes it look like Samson and Goliath. Like Mayer was massive compared to him. And I'm not saying he's better than Braden Smith, but he does a lot of things every bit as well and probably scores it a little better. So, like,
what's your favorite part about his game? That you
Mayer?
Yeah.
Just the physicality of how he plays, the poise, the change of speed, all of those things. And, you know, I was talking to one of their assistant coaches over the summer. It's like, don't worry about what position you're going to play him at. You don't have to put him on the ball. Just put him out there. I promise he'll figure it out. Like, that's how good he was, and that's how good he is going into this season. He had a terrific summer. So you look at all those pieces. The funniest part about it is every time I watch Fletcher Lawyer play, I'm just like, 2 for 5 from 3, hit a couple of layups, got to the free throw line, ends up with 12 points. I'm just like, okay. And then you look at his numbers, and he just does it so efficiently every game. So, like, all those guys just know how to play with each other. Now, they just made a Final Four for the first time in Painter's tenure, right? Like, I would say, like, another Final Four would be great. National championship or bust. There's a lot of different ways to have a great season. I think with all the luck that's needed to get to that point, national championship or bust, I'm kind of off that wagon. If that makes I appreciate the fact that you need to win a national championship because Rob's going to come back probably next week and say, well, John Shire needs to get it done. Right. Well, Matt Painter.
Not yet. Shire's too young.
What about Dan Hurley? Dan Hurley, like, has he lost? Like, I can't wait for Rob to say that one.
I'm ready. Look, all I'm saying, Dan's scheduled hard. I might put him on a hot seat if we start 2-2. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, boy.
Put him on a hot seat.
Dan, he's kidding. Hey, hold on, Fanta. Dan, he's kidding.
That was a joke, Dan.
Dan Hurley, he's kidding.
Thanks, Theo.
Yeah.
You know what, Terrence? I think I would change it to this is as strong of a shot that they have to do it, which I would say 2 years ago was as strong of a shot that they had, and they ran into your part of what you're doing here in the argument is you're saying, and you hope this, that you don't run into UConn in a national title game, a team of that caliber. You hope that you're that team. Part of it, too, is when you look at their team 2 years ago, they were 12th in defensive efficiency. This past season, they were like 53rd.
Yeah,
now,
2 years ago. Sorry, 2 years ago.
Yeah, but I think that going into this year, part of the reason why you say it's as strong of a shot and that everything's on the table is, of course, Braden Smith, who let's get to these two notes that I just love about Braden Smith. Number one, he's already the second player in college basketball history to record at least 550 points, 300 assists, and 150 rebounds in a season. He's also the only player to have at least 75 steals in a season. The only other player who accomplished that feat in the history of college basketball, exclude the steals, Ja Morant. That's it. The list stops there. Not to mention, you can't say with Smith that he's not made for the NCAA tournament. He's played and starred in as many games as anybody that's going to be walking into March Madness next year. This guy is the only player in NCAA tournament history to have 2 games of at least 15 assists. Gonzaga in 24, Houston in 25, and the last one that I love, he's the second player.
He was so good against Houston in that game. I'm sorry,
so
but that second half against Houston was maybe the best half of basketball I've seen a point guard play in doing this in 16 years. He was unbelievable. Sorry, go ahead, finish.
And the last one is he's the second player in Big Ten history to register 450 points, 250 assists, 125 rebounds, 60 steals in the season since the only other player, Magic frickin' Johnson. So Rob's right. You know, when we look at players of the 2020s, Braden Smith is going to be in that top 5. He's going to be there because when you look at everything that he's done, and I know he's got to get through this year, and I know he's got to vie for all those things, but knock on wood, if he's healthy and we're running this show, and the guy that doesn't get talked about enough that's all-American material is Trey Kaufman-Renn. Mm-hmm. Trey Kaufman-Renn took it upon himself to say, Zach Edey's in the rearview mirror, I've got to step up. He did. What's another offseason development? And that guy's a house. Like, if you think you're going to break him, he ain't letting anybody get by him. He is so well-conditioned. He is so ready for the moment. And Rob, where your point is the best of it all is, if they make it to the Final Four, which I hope that they do, they have home games.
Yeah.
Indianapolis.
Well, yeah, it's an hour away, but what if Louisville's there as well? And what if Kentucky is there as well? Like that. Imagine if we had a Final Four that was Purdue, Louisville, Kentucky in Indianapolis. One, those ticket prices would be astronomical, right? And two, downtown Indianapolis will be it'll be the best night ever in the history of Indianapolis. 3 nights in a row down there. Imagine that. Imagine what it would be like. Kilroy's would be jumping to yo.
I'm not going.
Kilroy's might as well be Omnia.
Yeah.
It's true though. There's a lot of teams that are around that footprint, but I do think Paint has just built this. Like when you now look at in 2025, if you put a Mount Rushmore together of the current coaches in the sport, Matt Painter is on that Mount Rushmore today, right now. If I'm asking somebody to coach a team, he is on that Mount Rushmore. Now, I know Dan Hurley is obviously there too, and it would be hard to not say Rick Pitino. But I think Kelvin Sampson. I mean,
Bill Self, Tom Izzo.
But today,
okay,
I'm not taking Izzo and Self over Matt Painter today.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I think you're probably right there. What I will say is this.
Maybe Nate Oates is in the conversation.
Todd Golden.
Yeah, Todd needs another 5 years of this level of success to get there, in my opinion. And I think that Nate needs one more deep run. What I will say about Purdue is this, and if they don't win the title this year, right? Even if they make it to a national championship game, we're going to look back and say, arguably the two best players that we had in the 2020s, Braden Smith and Zach Edey, were on the same team in the same era for the same coach and couldn't win a title. So I think that that's something that will stick with Paint if he doesn't get it done this year. But I also think the reason why I believe that they're the team that has the best chance to be what UConn was in 2024, right? Because I have no doubt that this is going to be, if they're not the best offense in college basketball, they're going to be a top 3 offense in college basketball. Their issue last year wasn't on the offensive end of the floor. They ranked 332nd in defensive 2-point field goal percentage, 358th in block rate, and they were outside the top 120 in both offensive rebounding rate and defensive rebounding rate. That's a long-winded way of saying they didn't have the paint presence to replace Zach Edey, and they had absolutely no rim protection.
Right.
Well, this year they got Daniel Jacobson coming in. Daniel Jacobson is going to be healthy, and I think that significantly changes how well they rebound. Oscar Clough averaged 17 and 13 last year, 13 rebounds a game. Okay, he is a 6'11" Australian outback man. I'm pretty sure that this dude goes camping with crocodiles in the summer.
Hangs out with Steven Adams.
Yeah, that it's a similar kind of situation there.
Learn defense from him.
Yeah, so it's gonna change what they can they look like as a team hitting the glass. It's gonna change what that interior rim protection looks like. And I think when you combine what you get with Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer and TKR offensively, with the fact that now my guess, I'd be very surprised if they were outside the top 20 in defensive efficiency on KenPom, and I think they'll be closer to top 12 to 15 this year. And if that's the case, then to me, they are going to end up being the clear-cut favorite to win a national championship when we look up in February. And if Paint doesn't get it done with Braden Smith running the show and the team this good, there are going to be questions that are asked by people that probably don't understand it the way that we kind of look at this. So that's just kind of where I'm at with it.